All right, guys. Bear with me. I've only done this twice in 18 years.
I'll look at you.
There you go. Okay, how about call to order and roll call?
Councilman Boyer.
Here.
Councilman Underwood. Councilwoman Templeton.
Here.
Councilman Weiner.
Here.
Councilman Dennis is the mayor pro tem tonight. Councilman Benz.
Here.
Councilman Cook.
Here.
Councilman Tenen.
Here. All right. Everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Consent agenda.
We'd entertain a motion for the approval of our consent agenda. Motion,
Second.
second.
You need to state the amount.
And we have warrants in the amount of $753,246.95.
An extra pen. I give that to Gary.
Go, Gary. All right.
Councilman Tenen.
Yes.
Councilman Cook.
Yes.
Councilman Benz.
Yes.
Councilman Weiner.
Yes.
Councilwoman Templeton.
Yes.
Councilman Underwood. Councilman Boyer.
Yes.
Correspondence?
You want to come up here? Bring up your program. When you look on the agenda, it talks about correspondence for the FPO program. I want to get into this a little bit, and bear with me on this story. On Friday, August the 24th, 2018, started as a normal Friday. Everybody's in the office. Everybody's kind of hanging around. It's Friday. We're going to quit. We're going to go to a football game. Things are going to be good. Then all of a sudden, we get a call. Herculean PD is involved in a pursuit. Shots fired. Officer possibly injured. The pursuit goes all over the county. There's a running gun battle that started in Herky, went up through Arnold, back south on 55, and we're monitoring this. As we always say, if it comes down south on 55, guess where it's going to end up? It's going to end up in Festus. So be careful what you wish for. As this is going on, I'm in a patrol car with a brand new officer. She's been on the force maybe 2 weeks. So I'm thinking this is going to be a learning experience. We're going to go through, because we're never thinking what happened happens. So I'm telling her where this pursuit possibly could come in, trying to be as professional as I can. Well, we hear the pursuit's coming southbound on 55, gets off on Z Highway, and go, well, Hillsboro's going to get it. And then I hear a call, they're in Horine. When I hear the call in Horine, the hair on the back of my neck stood up because I said the next stop's going to be Festus. Unbeknownst to any of us at the time, we weren't sure where this was going to end up, but I knew where it was coming. So being the chief, I decided to pull into Alexander Heights and set up a command post and say, we're going to regulate this. It's either going to go to Central and Horine, or it's going to go to Horine and 5th. But we're going to end this pursuit. There was a third option that we really didn't think about until I realized I get the call that the pursuit has now entered Alexander Heights. And at that point, there are several police officers, including Sergeant Pippin, myself, and several others, that are in Alexander Heights thinking that we were going to regulate our resources and put an end to this. Within a matter of moments, I'm looking up, and I'll never forget the car coming around the corner, several police cars, and this car suddenly driving at a high rate of speed. We had briefly talked about what we were going to do before this, and I'm here to tell you, plans can change really quick. And if there's a little humor, I will tell it. As the car came down the road, I told my pastor, I said, put your seatbelt on. I'm going to hit him. I'm going to ram him. And at the last second, that car made a right turn into a house driveway, drove right through the garage. And the first thing that went through my mind was, I'll be writing for the next 6 months. I caused this guy to turn in there. But at that point, we exited the car. The suspect exited the car, and the gunfight began. Shots were fired, exchanged. And I want you to know that Sergeant Lewis Pippin didn't waver one bit. There were several of us on the scene. And when everybody's diving for cover, and I'm telling you, when the bullets started flying, people were diving. He never wavered an inch. I don't know if you've ever been in combat. I've never been in combat, but I've been in a couple gunfights. And there's nothing more comforting when you hear firepower coming from behind you that you know is yours. With that, he never wavered one bit. When several people were running away from the threat, he ran to it, ran right to it. And he took actions and he took measures that probably saved other officers' lives. And we know that if we hadn't taken action that day, there was probably going to be a civilian who was going to be killed. And after that was done, the investigation began. So we kind of had to be quiet and keep our mouths shut, couldn't say anything. Well, now the investigation has been completed, I want to tell you, it's one of the most heroic things I've ever seen as a police officer. It was conducted by this man right here. And with that, I would like to award him the Medal of Valor. You want to turn around? I don't have anything else. You want to say anything?
Take the opportunity, if you guys want to take some pictures.
Thank you, guys.
I was there that day, the ambulance, the person there, and I know it was black, and thank you. And one of the things I asked you when I see your face was, are you okay? And God, you are, thank you for your service. If you'd like to get some pictures with your family or friends, or get some pictures of them, guys, come on up, we'll break for a second, and we'll resume when y'all are done.
I feel like it. You like it? Got it in front of you.
Tommy, now, I'm not saying.
This guy right here. This guy right here.
Thank Alex.
Yeah. He's the one that got
Put it all together.
He's the one that got this phone, please.
I'll be meeting you later.
I have no complaints.
He was here on the premise. He was from.
Hey, Lou, you glad you didn't wear shorts? Go home.
I'm at the council meeting. That's. You have to come to our office. By the way, Louis,
Still gotta
talk
stay.
about the FGO program.
Still got to
You are supposed to be doing that.
We still have to stay for the close.
Congrats.
See how that works.
I'm just here for a council meeting.
Should be.
All right, remarks of visitors, Carrie said we have none. Bids, fire department. Chief Kramer.
All right. We're coming at you tonight for request of purchase of a breathing air compressor. We received 4 bids, sealed bids, ranging from just under 38,000 to 51,000. It's our recommendation to accept the bid from Feld to Fire for $37,953.80.
What'd you budget?
55,000, sorry.
That's okay. So you always know my next question. What, could you have bought more? What can you do? Can you roll the
With
money
the
over?
compressor, no. I mean, this is what we need. We actually did purchase a little more with this than what we currently have. So
Okay.
Any other questions for the chief? They're fine, Tim.
the other one lasted 26 years, and it's gave us nothing but problems this last year. We tried to get one last year out of it, and it just wasn't working. Not a lot of hours, but it's just old.
Guys, you got any more questions for the chief? We need a motion.
I'd like to make the motion.
Second.
Motion been made second. All in favor? Oh,
Can you just state back the Feld Fire, accept the bid from Feld Fire at $37,953.80.
yeah, okay. So we'll accept the motion.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
I heard it. And we'll need a roll call.
Hey, I don't get up here much.
Carrie, we'll need a roll call.
Okay, we ready? Councilman Boyer,
Yes.
Councilman Underwood,
Yes.
Councilwoman Templeton,
Yes.
Councilman Weiner,
Yes.
Councilman Tenen,
Yes.
Councilman Cook,
Yep.
Councilman Benz.
Yes.
Motion is.
Thank you.
passed.
Are your compressor.
Okay, next on the agenda is police department locker purchase. Chief Lewis.
What we're requesting is new lockers for the locker room. We budgeted $17,000 for it this year. Those lockers, when we built this building, I was in on part of the group that went out to the National Guard and grabbed the extra lockers they had and put them in here. So those lockers have been in this building for 33 years. We went out for bids. We initially budgeted $17,000. We received 3 bids. We'd like to take the one from Uline for the price of $16,940.
Any questions? Okay, I'd entertain a motion for $16,940 for
Uline,
for our locker purchase.
yes.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say
I
aye.
got to do roll call.
16.
Councilman Tenen,
Yes.
Councilman Cook,
Yep.
Councilman Benz,
Yes.
Councilman Weiner,
Yes.
Councilwoman Templeton,
Yes.
Councilman Underwood, Councilman Boyer.
Yes.
Okay, this passed. Get your lockers, chief.
Thank you.
Okay. Next on the agenda is mechanic shop improvements.
Yeah, I'll take care of this. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council. As you know, we had budgeted to put a new vehicle lift in the mechanic shop That is a process that is underway. In the process of doing that, though, it was discovered that the electrical in the building, in addition to be basically a rat's nest, is also subpar to be able to handle the electrical needs of the lift. So Alan went out and sought bids to upgrade the existing panel and also to upgrade the circuitry in the building to get it up to spec. So what you have here is to have J.A. Hughes Electrical Services come in at the tune of $6,200. This is out of budget. We had $40,000 set aside to do the lift. The lift came in under budget, but unfortunately, this will put the total project over budget, which we'll have to adjust with an amendment at mid-year.
Okay, so we need a motion to upgrade the shop's electrical system with J.A. Hughes for $6,200.
Second.
Okay, there's a roll call on that. What's the?
Councilman Boyer,
Yes.
Councilman Underwood,
Yes.
Councilwoman Templeton,
Yes.
Councilman Weiner,
Yes.
Councilman Cook.
Yes, but quick question. And I apologize. Is this something that is required to do right now or the lift won't operate?
Yeah, well, it won't operate.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Venz,
Yes.
Councilman Tenen.
Yes.
Okay, it has passed. Sorry about that. Stephanie, you can figure out how to pay for that for us there. Yeah. Okay. Next on our agenda is bill number 4662. We're going to read that for the first time tonight.
Bill number 4662, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Festus, Missouri, repealing section 105.020 of chapter 105 of Title I of the Municipal Code of the City of Festus, Missouri, and enacting in lieu thereof a new section 105.020 to amend the city ward boundaries and establishing an effective date.
Gentlemen and lady, this is, of course, as we have discussed, Jeremy Tanz, the Executive Director of the Southeast Missouri Regional Planning Commission, was at a previous meeting discussing some options we had for our ward reapportionment following the 2020 census. This is the easiest choice that we had before us. What you see reflected here does move some population from Ward 2 into Ward 1. And gets us the balance that we're required to by law. This also includes the meets and bounds description that we're required to incorporate into our code as discussed.
Any questions for?
Does that change any of us councilmen?
This does not change any of the councilmen. There will be a couple of hundred people that will be changing their polling place. From Ward 2 to Ward 1. And we've already started the process with the county clerk's office for them to be able to send notice to those folks well in advance of the April election.
So all of us still.
Every elected official up here and every current elected official is unaffected by the new boundaries.
When we looked at it on that packet.
Correct.
Any more questions, Dave? Anything?
No, that was the best one.
Mike, you got anything on the realignment of the wards?
Nope, my neighbor's on there, right? I cut his grass. I know I have to vote.
That's what we were looking for. You guys okay over here? Yeah. Okay, I need a motion to suspend the rules and read bill number 4662 for a second time in title only.
So moved.
Motion is seconded. So we need a roll call on that.
Well, I gotta read it for a second time.
Okay, Karen's gonna read it a second time.
Bill number 4662, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Festus, Missouri, repealing section 105.020 of chapter 105 of Title I of the Municipal Code of the City of Festus, Missouri, and enacting in lieu thereof a new section 105.020 to amend the city ward boundaries and establishing an effective date. Councilman Cook.
Yes.
Councilman Weiner.
Yes.
Councilman Boyer.
Yes.
Councilman Tenen.
Yes.
Councilman Benz,
Yes.
Councilman Underwood, Councilwoman Templeton.
Yes.
Okay, bill number 4662 has passed. Next on the agenda is bill number 4663.
Bill number 4663, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Festus, Missouri, imposing a use tax at the rate equal to the total local sales taxes in effect for the privilege of storing, using, or consuming within the city any article of tangible personal property pursuant to the authority granted by and subject to the provisions of sections 144.600 through 144.761 RSMO, providing for the use tax to be repealed, reduced, or raised in the same amount as any city sales tax is repealed, reduced, or raised, and providing for submission of the proposal to the qualified voters of the city for their approval at the general election called and to be held in the city of on the 5th day of April 2022, prescribing the conditions thereto and establishing an effective date.
Okay. It's now open for discussion. Staff report?
Certainly. Thank you all. And as we had talked about at previous meetings, and I think for some time now, related to the use tax, and I think we've come up with what I think is probably our best approach to several solutions, if you want to call that, which is one, being able to approach this with the public, and two, being able to solve that, how much will use tax draw? Being able to not really put a number on it, not knowing how much of a percentage based on the estimates from the Department of Revenue. So essentially what this boils down to is, as you see in the language here that we've proposed, there's a whereas we've added to the ordinance. Whereas the City Council of the City of Festus, Missouri has expressed the desire to establish a capital fund and dedicate the first $2 million of use tax revenue collected towards specific parks and library projects. So as the money comes in, whether it's at $98,000 a year, whether it's $200,000 a year, whether it's $400,000 a year, those projects that we've identified, it just gives us the ability to either do them at a slower pace or a faster pace. And I think being able to tell people up front that these are things that we've identified, that you've helped us identified through our satisfaction survey. We've taken that feedback, and we're trying to find a way to get these things done. That this is our best way forward, and at the same time identifying a hole that is just going to keep getting larger and larger. As we, I think everyone I've talked to, I don't know how many people I know Doug and I joke about this, that the Amazon trucks that come to his house, I had someone else make that comment today about the Amazon trucks that come to their house. That's $98,000 in my house alone. So I think we see that this is an issue that's going to just become a larger and larger issue as we go along. We've had obviously some conversations one-on-one, and I think if we put this in front of the folks and we do our best job of educating voters in the April election, this will probably be our best shot of perhaps getting this passed. I don't know if we'll have another chance in the next few years to do it or not, but I think this may be our next and perhaps only opportunity for the next few years to do it. But I'm happy to answer any questions you have related to it.
Hey, Greg, I saw where the city of Shrewsbury did a hiring freeze. It was in the Post-Dispatch because they basically are saying their drop in revenue is due to change in shopping patterns.
Yeah. 2
firefighters, 2 police officers, and 3 from parks will not be filled.
Yeah.
Because they're $425,000 down.
Yeah. Yeah. It really is. I think it strikes some communities harder than others. And the thing that it's interesting when you see it has a lot to do with the retail makeup within that community. Those communities that are set up a certain way. I think the hole that we see in our community is probably clothing retail. I think a lot of people, when they're shopping for clothing, they're either leaving Festus or they're shopping online. We're fortunate in the fact that we do have some diversity in some other areas, and they will be able to shop locally still. But a lot of specialty stuff, consumer electronics, that's probably where a lot of folks automatically go to. They're buying computers and phones and all the other gadgets that they have. That's probably almost a default setting for a lot of folks in this day and age, for sure. It is certainly something that we know that we need to do something about. That's for sure.
I had one question. Maybe it's a thought. With the property we have down by the library, the open space, would we have to somehow make that park property?
No.
To use that as part of this money?
No.
I've had a discussion with some folks here, and that would be another feasible idea. And then my other thought was, if we get into the barn and we can't, let's just say we can't make it worthy of what we want to do with it, would we be obligated? Would we be obligated to continue on, or just do the best we could with?
I think, as we've talked, the $2 million number is a number that we've identified as saying that the restoration of the Petering barn is a $500,000 project. The establishment of a splash pad in the city of Festus is a $500,000 project. A new HVAC system at the library is a $250,000 project. The establishment of a new playground in the Lambert Hills area is a $250,000 project. Those types of projects, when you add all that up together, before you know it, you have $2 million. So I think putting those project specific in front of the voters and saying, these are the things we promise to do, and that we also promise that we are going to give the parks more help with 2 additional full-time employees. We're going to give the library more help by taking Carla, a part-time employee, and make her a full-time employee. If this passes, I think that's again kind of the opportunity to make good on a promise, which I think you guys have done.
Right.
Certainly in the last 5 years. I think we've stepped up every time we've put something in front of the voters, and the voters have said yes. We've followed through on the promise and commitment we've made every time.
All right. Any further discussion?
Question. Is there or will there be a plan for, I guess, kind of transparency with the citizens as far as, hey, this is what this use tax accumulated this year. This is what we were able
Absolutely.
to do. Okay.
And that's part of our budget. That's part of our annual audit. I mean, anytime anybody wants to know what any of our sales tax collections are, they can go to our website right now and tell it. You can see what our general sales tax collects. They can see what our public safety sales tax pulls in, what our stormwater and parks tax, what our transportation or capital improvement tax. They can see that now. So they would be able to see this moving forward, and also see the expense side of things as well. So we do, I think, an excellent job in being transparent. That is information that is readily available. Those are numbers that are independently audited annually. I mean, we pay to have somebody else come in and go through our numbers.
I don't disagree with that
Sure.
at all, but on this issue in particular, I think you're going to have more public interest because they're
Certainly.
used to real estate tax, personal property tax, local sales tax, but now you're taxing something that for a lot of people have not been taxed on that. So I think being able to show people, hey, this is what we've been able to do for the parks. This is what we've been able to do for a little feel good is not a bad thing for people to hopefully understand that this is what you're paying for.
Yeah.
It's moving forward progress.
We have been able to confirm, obviously through Department of Revenue, this when it is charged. And by the way, people are paying this now. the state of Missouri is collecting their share. If you notice some language that has been discussed and we are including in our proposal here, the explanatory statement, state of Missouri is already collecting this. We are not. So when you buy online right now, you're paying sales tax. That is not City of Festus. That is the state of Missouri. Or if you're, I mean, for someone who's in a taxing jurisdiction that's already passed a use tax, that is being charged as well.
Hey, Greg,
Go ahead.
isn't there a vendor amount? Isn't it if you have sales over 100,000? Isn't there?
That's part of what was corrected with Wayfair, though. And
Okay.
I believe, and Brian, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I believe in 2023, a lot of that self-reporting all
Gone.
goes away.
So if you buy from a small mom and pop and they have a retail sales of even under 50,000, they'll be paying the online sales tax too, Brian?
That's my understanding. Yeah, I need to
Okay.
confirm that, but yeah.
Okay, 'cause for some reason, I was under the impression there was still a vendor limit to where even your small vendors doesn't pay it. But if you could double check on that
Yeah.
for me,
And we can confirm that for you.
because it could be a very good source of information when we market this.
But I guess to finish the thought, no, just to finish the thought, Department of Revenue does segregate these funds when they're remitted to the cities that have passed their a use tax. So case in point, the city of Farmington just recently passed a use tax. The city of Cape Girardeau just passed a use tax in November. So when they start receiving these funds, they will receive a separate transfer from the Department of Revenue that will say this is your use tax money. So we will be able to report that as well.
Yeah, exactly. Perception and reality
Mhm.
are often different things. So my only thing is making sure that people are, hey, this has already been happening. You just didn't know it was happening.
Mhm.
And now we're going to take hold of it.
Mhm.
So, but thank you.
Any further discussion? Could I get a motion to suspend the rules and read bill number 4663 for a second time in title only?
So moved.
Motion. Need a second?
Second,
Second. Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay,
I'll wait for, who made the second, though? I didn't put you.
yeah.
You did? You agree with me, okay. Make sure I got that right. Bill number 4663, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Festus, Missouri, imposing a use tax at the rate equal to the total local sales taxes in effect for the privilege of storing, using, or consuming within the city any article of tangible personal property pursuant to the authority granted by and subject to the provisions of sections 144.600 through 144.761 RSMO, providing for the use tax to be repealed, reduced, or raised in the same amount as any city sales tax is repealed, reduced, or raised, and providing for submission of the proposal to the qualified voters of the city for their approval at the general election called and to be held in the city on the 5th day of April, 2022, prescribing the conditions thereto and establishing an effective date. Councilman Weiner.
Yes.
Councilman Boyer.
Yes.
Councilman Cook.
yep.
Councilman Tenen.
Yes.
Councilman Underwood.
Yes.
Councilwoman Templeton.
Yes.
Councilman Vins.
Yes.
Bill number 4663 has passed. Okay, on your agenda under new business, guaranteed energy savings agreement.
Yeah, just real quick, and I just need a consent vote on this. What you have here is we put out an RFQ for a guaranteed energy savings contract. Typically, what these apply to are when you're looking at HVAC systems, but it's become a lot broader of an approach now. There are companies out there. We did have two in particular that replied to our RFQ. Verigy is one that does take a much broader approach. They look at the entirety of the operation of an organization, whether it is everything that goes into the operation of a building, from energy conservation to energy use. So lights, HVAC, water, electric, insulation, conservation. There's so many things that go into that part. But then on top of that, what we're asking them initially to do is to take a look at our water metering system. There's some inefficiencies that we have in our system presently. The way that the meters operate, when there is water that goes through a meter and it's not being metered effectively, correctly, that's revenue lost, but it's also water lost, which is a detriment to, I mean, you're pumping water, you're burning energy, you're wasting energy, and you're not getting that water back. It's going somewhere. It's being lost at that time. So this doesn't cost the city anything. The company comes in, they help us identify areas where there can be cost savings. Frequently, it's done on an incentive approach. There are companies out there easily identifiable. Ameren is one of them. Case in point, when we did the HVAC upgrades here, we did the lighting upgrades here at City Hall. There are incentives related to those upgrades, and that's how those companies get paid. So we'd like to have Verigy be able to come on board. Again, they work essentially on a project by project basis to help us identify these areas where we'd be able to get some guaranteed savings. But long term, I think they're going to be help us do some very positive things in the community, not just identifying some efficiencies, but I think helping us do some positive kind of green energy things that the public's really going to see from a perspective standpoint as a very positive thing moving forward. So I would just need a motion and a vote, not even a roll call, just a yea or nay.
Any questions for Greg? None? Entertain a motion to let him proceed with this project.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? You got it.
All right, thank you, sir.
Okay. Any old business for us tonight?
Nope.
Moving on, city council reports. Jim, we'll start with you tonight.
I don't think I have anything, Kevin.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mike?
Just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a safe holiday. And while I'm thinking about it, the mayor asked me to read something on his behalf. If you don't mind, I'll go ahead and just read what he asked me to do.
You have the floor.
Mayor Richards asked me to read this off, please. This has been a challenging year, and as it comes to a close, I would like to thank every member of the Festus team for your efforts to continue to provide excellent service and protection to our citizens. I wish you and your families a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Your Mayor, Sam Richards. And I echo the exact same thing. Have a safe New Year's, guys, and have a great holidays. Thanks for everybody's hard work. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that. Bobby?
Nothing, Kev.
Thanks, sir. Brian?
Just year-end wrap-up, end of year. I mean, we've just continued to go forward to make positive change for our citizens with more positive change on the horizon. And I look forward and I thank everybody for working towards that same goal. And Officer Pippin, just stellar, and thank you for your service too. That's all I have, sir.
Stacy?
Nothing for me other than have a great Christmas.
I just want to say once again, the Winterfest seemed like it went over real well. A lot of people were down there and heard a lot of good compliments on that. And noticed there was a booth. They were giving out bike helmets to the kids. And we went over and talked to that gentleman, and I thought that was a great thing. A lot of kids were getting their bike helmets. So safety, that was good. Great streets program. We attended that meeting the other day, and I think things are off to a good start on that. Brian and myself and Matt and the mayor and Greg went to that. Police report, I read that constantly. Tim usually tells me it's a tip of the iceberg. But it looks like the guys have been definitely just working really hard at the job. I know it's tough. It's safety. Anything we can do to help any of our departments in a safety, way, sure bring it to the attention of us, and we'll definitely look good. And Merry Christmas to everybody, and have a safe time.
Gary, got anything for us tonight, sir? Actually, no, somebody else already said. And I wish everybody Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Not much left to say about that, but I will say one thing. The city of Festus, we have it going on. We have a good team. Every single one of you, every department. You do a good job. You make our jobs easy. And we're dedicated to give you every resource that we can to keep you all doing a great job. So with that said, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you all. We appreciate it. So we need a motion to go out of open session and into closed session for the pursuant to Missouri law for the purpose of dealing with matters related to RSMO 610-021 legal and 2 real estate.
So moved.
Motion been made and second. Okay, we are out of regular
I have to
session.
do that by roll call. Councilman Boyer,
Yes.
Councilman Underwood, Councilwoman Templeton,
Yes.
Councilman Weiner, Councilman Benz,
Yes.
Councilman Cook,
Yes.
Councilman Timmons.
Okay, how about we take a 5-minute break and we'll proceed back.